Tips for first-time buyers in 2025. First-time buyer new build tip. New build properties are now much more common than ever before, and they're going up at a rate that has never been seen before. You may not be a fan of new builds at all, but in this day and age, they do usually supply much faster broadband and they're much more energy efficient than some older properties. So I'd certainly consider new builds, and also the mortgage schemes available are now more weighted towards new build properties than ever before. First time buyer employment tip. Try not to change employers or industries or go from self-employed to employed or vice versa just before you want to buy your first property and obtain a mortgage. Something I speak about a lot is continuous employment history, which is one of the most important elements of a mortgage application. Changing jobs within the same industry is usually okay, but bear in mind the new role might come with a probation period, which some mortgage lenders may not accept. First time buyer affordability tip. If you obtain annual bonuses from your current employer, most mortgage lenders will want to see 2 years bonuses from the same employer before they'll take them into account. They'll then usually average the last 2 years. So if you've got another bonus in a couple of months' time, then it could be good to wait until you've been paid it if you need to borrow a little bit more. The same applies to overtime, or maybe you do bank work, which results in additional income, usually on a separate payslip. For overtime, most mortgage lenders will average the last 3 months. So if you usually do a lot of overtime, but the last couple of months you haven't for some reason, that's going to affect the amount you can borrow considerably. So make sure, if you rely on overtime for the amount you need to borrow, then make sure you put in a good solid 3 months before you apply. And the same goes for bank work if you are an NHS worker, for example. First time buyer credit commitment tip. If you're looking to take out a mortgage soon, then taking out extra credit can reduce the amount you could borrow and increase your debt to income ratio. If your debt to income ratio is 40%, then some mortgage lenders will decline your mortgage. So if your income is £50,000 and you've got £20,000 worth of debt, your debt to income ratio in this instance is 40%, and it could affect your mortgage. Try not to increase your debt before a mortgage application. First time buyer gifted deposit tip. If you're receiving a gifted deposit from a family member, I would wait until you have your mortgage offer approved before you receive the gifted deposit. By having the gifted deposit sent to you early just means another trail of bank statements you'll have to potentially prove to the mortgage lender. If you've already had the money transferred, don't worry, okay? Just means you'll have to show the money being transferred and received and some bank statements usually around 6 months prior to the transfer. If you're receiving money from abroad, then you might need to get those bank statements translated, which can be expensive, and you'll need to supply the mortgage lender a gifted deposit form, which is worded correctly, which states the person making the gift does not have any interest in the property and the money is not a loan. If you download our free first time buyer pack, we do include a gifted deposit template for you to use. The link's in the description below, called First Time Buyer Pack. Bonus tip here. My biggest tip for you as a first-time buyer is not to rush the process. Don't put in an offer before you've got an agreement in principle. Don't look at properties before you know what your credit score looks like and before you know what you can borrow. When viewing properties, always look at them twice and be convinced about the property you want to buy. If you're not, then it's probably not the one, and just do everything you can to give yourself the best chance of mortgage success. Have a good employment history behind you, a good credit score, and make sure you have all of the documents such as ID, proof of address, proof of deposit, bank statements, proof of income. And make sure nothing is out of date, that your name's spelt correctly, and your addresses are all up to date on all of your documents. Mortgage warning. As a mortgage is secured against your home, it could be repossessed if you do not keep up the mortgage repayments. So thanks for watching today's video. Please check out the show notes for a recap with access to any links discussed today. If you feel like you're getting value, please do consider subscribing and ringing the bell. Have a beautiful day. I'll see you in the next one.